not like things aren't sort of standardized or in a specific thing. Things are all over the place. It's like the Wild West sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about specific venues, but definitely it's a well documented for researchers. It's a well documented phenomenon in the comedy industry. People not getting paid in a timely way. There being much too much delay. And you're right. This would be unthinkable in some other professions.
But I think the issue in comedy, as a performer, you need to be on stage. You need to regularly perform, because if you don't perform, you can't work on your set, you can't work on your timing, you cannot be a stand-up comedian standing in front of your mirror and doing it at home. You need an audience for it. And therefore, I think people compromise, and I have done as well, and think, okay, there is a gig organized. I might get paid or might not get paid. I'm still waiting for some money from people who haven't paid me. And like one was from June last year.
Woof.
And one time I chased £30 for over a year. You know, it's difficult, but of course you do it because you need the chance to perform.
Yeah. There's a. Should I say his name? No, I won't say his name because he's a good guy. Well, I don't want to get him in any trouble.
Yeah.
Good guy, but I'll tell the story of him. So there's a guy that owed him something like £600 or something, and he originally wasn't going to out him in Facebook comedy groups, but he did out him, and eventually he took him to a small claims court, and then he paid him. And I had something similar as well with a pub quiz company that does comedy, in that they didn't pay me for anything, but when I threatened them to go to the small claims court, they paid me for 2 gigs that I did, but they didn't pay me the other one. And I thought, as a small claim court costs a lot of money, I thought, screw that, and I just get the money, that some of it back rather than all of it. But yeah, it is the Wild West. And the way it's set up, it's very difficult to put a standardized procedure, because a lot of people, I have to say this, but comedians and comedy promoters, a lot of people are in it just for themselves, and they're not bothered about the wider thing.
And everyone can set up a comedy club. So I could just be, I don't know, there are no regulations. I can just now find a pub, use their extra room and charge tickets. So it's no regulation. You don't have to have any qualifications. You don't have to have worked in event management. You can just set up a comedy gig and then, yeah, not pay people.
In the past, when I've done research asking comedians what they love about stand-up and why it is they've chosen to work in stand-up, that actually comes out as a really big positive for people. But there's no limitations, no restrictions. You haven't got to put what you want to say through a committee. And if you want to set up a gig, you can set up a gig. So I think that's one of the things that's really beautiful about the stand-up industry. But also it's something that leads to potentially all of these problems that people don't get paid in a timely way. I mean, things we've been looking at is in terms of safety, is people not being given sufficient information about where they're going when they're traveling to a gig. I mean, these sorts of things don't come up in more formal kinds of employment where there is kind of regulation and an HR department and all that sort of thing.
To ask some of the silly things that you've had reported, or is that too confidential?
I think we can share some general examples. But Alice, do you want to talk about particularly the thing of not necessarily knowing where your gig is? Because I know this has happened to you.
Yeah, this is actually something that happens quite often. If people promote their gigs, so say on Facebook or wherever, they give a city, they say it's in Birmingham, and then you apply for that gig, and then a few days before the actual gig, you get the address, the full address, and then it's not in Birmingham, it's somewhere outside, and you need an extra bus, and then you miss your train so people just don't share proper information about the gig. And yeah, this happens quite a lot, that you don't know where exactly you have to go.